Good Morning Britain fans fume as they brand Sir Keir Starmer a joke in latest blow. Good Morning Britain's Ed Balls and Susanna Reid questioned a minister about Sir Keir Starmer's latest speech on migrants. Fans of Good Morning Britain were outraged on Monday morning as hosts Ed Balls and Susanna Reid questioned Communities and Housing Minister Miatta Fahnbulleh about Keir Starmer's Labour Party conference speech. The politician came to the UK with her parents as a child after they escaped a civil war in Liberia and Africa, as they claimed asylum. Ed asked her, "How do you feel when your own Prime Minister is talking about a golden ticket for asylum seekers? Doesn't that kind of feed the sense of asylum seekers being the wrong ones?" Ms. Fahnbulleh shared that she is a first-generation migrant in this country, as she admitted that she has benefited from the decency of the country, which allowed her family to rebuild their lives. She said, "So I absolutely understand and can see the benefits of our refugee system, when it works well, can do." However, the politician went on to say that things are not right, as she said, "There is an issue with how we respond to our immigration system, there is." She went on to say that people thinking that seeing migrants arriving by boat is okay as she hit back. But it's not. It's not right and it's not okay. It's not safe and it's not right that people are exploiting people's misery, and it is not right that we have inherited a system that is absolutely broken. We have to fix that. Fans of GMB shared their thoughts on the interview online, with many directing their comments towards Sir Keir Starmer. "What a joke," one fumed. Another complained, "The yellow brick road and golden tickets will never stop under this pathetic government." One more said, "You're such nightmarish liberals. Look at the state of the countries they're coming from. Our country will end up looking like that," while another person added, "PM should vow to protect all communites. It's his job." It comes after Starmer revealed plans for asylum policy changes at the European Political Community (EPC) summit in Copenhagen on Thursday. He shared that refugees granted asylum in the UK will no longer be automatically given settlement and family reunion rights. Good Morning Britain has never shied away from being the nation's breakfast battleground, and Monday morning's episode was no exception. The ITV flagship show once again became a lightning rod for political outrage as viewers erupted on social media, branding Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer a joke following his latest awkward appearance. What was supposed to be a calm and considered policy discussion quickly spiraled into a storm of fury, memes, and scathing verdicts from the public. For Starmer, who has spent years trying to position himself as the reliable alternative to the Conservative government, the timing could not have been worse. With an election looming ever closer, the one thing the Labour leader needed was credibility and composure. Instead, GMB viewers accused him of looking evasive, weak, and completely out of touch. The appearance that sparked the backlash. Seated opposite Susanna Reid and Richard Madeley, Starmer was asked about Labour's strategy on immigration, the NHS, and the rising cost of living. What should have been an opportunity to project strength instead became an uncomfortable half-hour in which the leader was pressed relentlessly for clear answers. Viewers noted his constant attempts to steer the conversation back to rehearsed lines, rather than engaging directly with the host's questions. At one point, Madeley, never one to shy away from confrontation, asked bluntly, "Sir Keir, do you actually know what working-class families are facing right now, or are you just reading out briefing notes?" The silence that followed was enough to make Twitter explode. Moments later, Reid cornered him on whether Labour would reverse the controversial green energy levies, a policy that has burdened households already struggling with rising bills. Starmer's response, heavy with jargon but light on clarity, left fans rolling their eyes. "He talks for 2 minutes and says nothing," wrote one viewer. "How is this man supposed to lead the country?" The reaction online. Social media lit up almost immediately. Hashtags like #StarmerOnGMB and #LabourJoke began trending as furious viewers shared their disbelief. Some called him the worst Labour leader in living memory, while others compared him unfavorably to past figures such as Jeremy Corbyn, Tony Blair, or even Gordon Brown. "Starmer is a joke. Plain and simple," one ex-user posted. "Every time he's asked a straight question, he dodges it like a schoolboy who hasn't done his homework." Another was more cutting, "I switched off. If this is the man we're supposed to vote for, Britain is doomed." Memes circulated rapidly, with clips of Starmer fumbling for words being spliced with footage of comedians looking lost or sitcom characters avoiding responsibility. The internet, as always, proved merciless. A pattern of GMB takedowns. This is far from the first time Starmer has struggled under the glare of Good Morning Britain spotlight. In fact, His appearances on the program have become something of a curse for the Labour leader. From being skewered over rail strikes to faltering when pressed about his Brexit stance, Starmer has often looked more like a barrister dodging cross-examination than a prime minister in waiting. Susanna Reid, known for her sharp and forensic interviewing style, has arguably become his toughest critic. Unlike the more forgiving long-form interviews on the BBC or Channel 4, GMB's breakfast slot thrives on rapid-fire questioning and visceral moments of tension. Starmer's reserved style has repeatedly left him looking defensive. Viewers have noticed. Every time he's on GMB he comes out weaker, one frustrated fan wrote. If he can't handle Reid and Madeley, how is he going to handle Putin or Biden? A gift to the Conservatives? For the governing Conservatives, Starmer's poor showing could be seen as a political gift. In recent months, Labour has been riding high in opinion polls, with many predicting a landslide victory in the next election. But critics argue that polls don't capture the fragile nature of Starmer's personal image. If voters don't trust the man at the top, Labour's momentum could unravel quickly. Tory supporters were quick to seize on the GMB backlash. Starmer's a joke, but a dangerous one if people actually vote for him, one Conservative activist posted online. Others suggested the Labour leader's weakness on television could become a central line of attack during the election campaign. The wider issue: personality versus policy. Political analysts have long argued that Starmer's biggest challenge isn't his policies but his personality. On paper, he's accomplished, a former director of public prosecutions, knighted for his services to law, and leader of the opposition since 2020. But in the court of public opinion, gravitas isn't enough. Voters want charisma, relatability, and conviction. Qualities that Starmer often struggles to project. With its lively and often chaotic energy, exposes those weaknesses more brutally than any other platform. Unlike Parliament, where speeches are rehearsed and soundbites carefully crafted, breakfast TV demands spontaneity and connection. It's a performance as much as a debate, and on this stage, Starmer keeps faltering. Fans' verdict: we deserve better. Among the most common refrains online was the sense of disappointment. Labour voters who once had hope in Starmer are now questioning whether he's capable of winning hearts as well as votes. I voted Labour all my life, but Starmer inspires nothing, wrote one disillusioned supporter. We need someone who can actually fight for us, not mumble excuses on GMB. Others pointed to the growing popularity of Reform UK and Nigel Farage, whose bombastic style stands in stark contrast to Starmer's careful lawyerly tone. Like him or loathe him, Farage knows how to connect, one viewer argued. Starmer just looks like he's reading a rulebook. The road ahead. For Sir Keir, the backlash represents yet another warning sign. Unless he can adapt his communication style and find a way to cut through to everyday viewers, appearances like Monday's will continue to damage Labour's credibility. Good Morning Britain is not just a morning TV show, it's a mirror reflecting the raw opinions of ordinary voters. The irony is that Starmer himself has often said he wants to lead a government that listens. But as GMB viewers made clear, listening isn't enough if you can't answer tough questions with conviction. Conclusion. As the credits rolled on Monday's edition of Good Morning Britain, the Labour leader may have breathed a sigh of relief that the grilling was over. But outside the studio, the storm was only just beginning. Viewers had seen enough, and their verdict was brutal. Sir Keir Starmer is a joke. For a man hoping to be Prime Minister, few labels could be more damaging. In politics, image is everything, and if Good Morning Britain continues to be his downfall, Labour may face an election battle far harder than they ever anticipated.